World War II left Europe in ruins. The world had witnessed the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression and technological advancement. From the ashes of this conflict, a new struggle emerged, the Cold War. This ideological battle between the United States and the Soviet Union would come to define a generation and shape the geopolitical landscape for decades to come. Both superpowers vying for dominance recognized the strategic importance of scientific and technological superiority. This recognition fueled a clandestine competition for the spoils of war, most notably the brilliant minds that had fueled the Nazi war machine. As the Allied forces closed in on the collapsing Third Reich, a top-secret initiative was already underway. The United States, along with its allies, sought to capture and exploit German scientific advancements. The target, the scientists, engineers and technicians who had played a pivotal role in developing Germany's formidable arsenal, from rockets and jet aircraft to chemical weapons. Among these individuals were some who had been instrumental in developing the V-2 rocket, a fearsome weapon that had terrorized London during the war. This operation, shrouded in secrecy and driven by the exigencies of the nascent Cold War, would come to be known as Operation Paperclip. Its objective was simple yet audacious: to bring Nazi scientists to the United States, providing them with safe haven and employment in exchange for their expertise. The ethical implications of offering refuge to individuals complicit in the atrocities of the Nazi regime were largely ignored in the face of potential strategic gains. The stage was set for a morally complex chapter in history, one that would see former enemies become invaluable assets in the pursuit of scientific and military dominance. Operation Paperclip would forever blur the lines between moral responsibility and national interest, leaving behind a legacy as controversial as it was consequential. The race for scientific supremacy was on. The United States and the Soviet Union both sought to harness the knowledge of German scientists. Operation Paperclip was the US response to this challenge. It was a clandestine program, hidden from public view. The government feared backlash if the truth about the scientists' past was revealed. These scientists, many of whom had been members of the Nazi Party, had participated in the horrors of the war. The operation involved smuggling these individuals out of Germany. It also meant scrubbing their records and creating new identities. The goal was to integrate them into American society and research institutions. The ethical implications were largely ignored in favor of national security interests. The program's architects argued that the scientists' knowledge was crucial. They believed that these scientists could help the US win the Cold War. Their expertise could be used to develop advanced weapons, rocket technology, and even space exploration programs. The scientists were seen as assets, their past sins overshadowed by their potential contributions. Operation Paperclip was highly successful in its primary objective. It brought over 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians to the United States. These individuals were instrumental in advancing various fields, most notably in the development of rocketry and space exploration. However, the program's legacy remains deeply controversial, a stark reminder of the difficult moral compromises made in the name of national security during the Cold War. Among the scientists brought to the United States under Operation Paperclip, Wernher von Braun emerged as a central figure. A brilliant engineer and visionary, von Braun had played a key role in developing the V-2 rocket for Nazi Germany. This liquid-fueled ballistic missile, a terrifying weapon during the war, would become the precursor to modern rocketry and space exploration. Von Braun and his team of engineers were brought to Fort Bliss, Texas. There, they continued their research and development of rocket technology for the US Army. Von Braun's vision, however, extended far beyond the battlefield. He dreamed of space travel, of reaching the moon and exploring the cosmos. His expertise proved invaluable in the development of the rockets that would eventually launch the first American satellites and astronauts into space. Under von Braun's leadership, the US made significant strides in rocketry. They developed the Redstone rocket, which was used to launch the first American satellite, Explorer 1, into orbit. This achievement marked a turning point in the space race, demonstrating the United States' growing capabilities in space exploration. Von Braun's team went on to develop the powerful Saturn V rocket, the launch vehicle for the Apollo missions that would ultimately land humans on the moon. Wernher von Braun's story is a complex one. He was a brilliant scientist who made significant contributions to space exploration. However, his work for the Nazi regime and his involvement in the use of forced labor during the war cast a long shadow over his legacy. His story, like that of Operation Paperclip itself, highlights the moral ambiguities of the Cold War and the compromises made in the pursuit of scientific progress. Operation Paperclip remains a controversial chapter in American history. The program raises complex ethical questions about the limits of pragmatism and the moral responsibility of a nation. On one hand, the scientists brought to the US made significant contributions to science and technology, advancing fields like rocketry, aerospace engineering, and medicine. Their work helped propel the United States to the forefront of the space race and contributed to the development of technologies that continue to shape our world today. On the other hand, the decision to offer refuge and employment to individuals complicit in the atrocities of the Nazi regime raises serious moral concerns. Many of these scientists had been members of the Nazi Party, and some had been involved in war crimes. By obscuring their pasts and providing them with positions of authority, the US government effectively shielded them from accountability for their actions. The legacy of Operation Paperclip continues to be debated. Some argue that the program was a necessary evil, a pragmatic decision made in the interest of national security during a time of global tension. Others contend that the ethical compromises made in the pursuit of scientific and technological advantage were unjustifiable, setting a dangerous precedent and undermining the moral standing of the United States. Operation Paperclip serves as a stark reminder of the complex moral dilemmas faced by nations in times of conflict. It highlights the tensions between national interest and ethical responsibility and the lasting consequences of decisions made in the shadows of war. The program's legacy continues to spark debate and introspection, prompting us to grapple with the ethical implications of scientific progress and the responsibilities of nations to uphold human rights, even in the pursuit of knowledge and power.